Welcome to a short preview of this Screencasts Online video tutorial. As well as macOS Mojave and iOS 12, Apple also released new versions of watchOS and tvOS last month. In this episode, I'll be taking a look at some of the new and improved features in watchOS 5, initially on the Apple Watch Series 3, with a section at the end looking at the new features specific to Apple Watch Series 4. watchOS 5 is available for installation on all Apple Watches except for the original first generation Apple Watch. As usual, it's installed via the Apple Watch app on the iPhone using the software update feature, and for this first section I'm going to demonstrate watchOS 5 on an Apple Watch Series 3. Now just be aware that some of these features are dependent on the sensors built into the Apple Watch, so all of the features may not be available on the Series 1 and Series 2 Apple Watch. But let's make a start looking at the updates to workouts. What I don't really want to do in this episode is just to sort of replay the keynote. You've probably seen the keynote and are aware of some of the new features within the Apple Watch. Ideally, what I'd like to do is to show you how they are configured and how you get access to them, rather than just a rehash of the keynote itself. So let's start with the workout features, the important workout features that have been updated. To get to workout, you go to the Watch application, and then if we go down here, we will see down at the bottom there is our workout application. Two new features. You can now start a workout reminder and end a workout reminder. One of the problems with earlier versions of watchOS was that you could start a workout and forget to start the workout application, so you'd lose all that credit, or you would forget that you'd finished a workout and then you would sort of have a multi-hour workout which wasn't indicative of the true amount of effort that you'd spent. That's just a quick preview of one of this week's Apple-related tutorials from Screencasts Online. Screencasts Online is your premium source of Apple-related video tutorials. All of our members get access to brand new, up-to-date tutorials each week, as well as unlimited access to our entire video archive full of Mac and iOS-related tutorials. You can stream and download all of our videos on your Mac, iPad and iPhone, and even your Apple TV using the members-only Screencasts Online Apple TV app. Membership also includes a complimentary subscription to the digital Screencasts Online monthly magazine, published each month and packed with videos, articles, reviews, as well as hints and tips covering all aspects of the Mac, iPad, iPhone, and all of the other fantastic Apple products. So, if you're ready to start getting the most out of your Apple devices, visit screencastsonline.com today and become a Screencasts Online member.